So I made a video back a while ago about the introduction of a brief introduction of linguistic studies. In that video, I mentioned about the distinctions between phonetics and phonology, and I said phonetics is studying about the detailed elements or units of phonemes and the studying of phonetic alphabet. And the phonology is the studying of is a holistic studying of how all the phonetic alphabets are constructed and how they can make into a certain sound. By saying this, I think it's not clear enough, too vague, and can be misleading to those who are first hand of learning phonetics and phonology. So today when I was reviewing my old materials, I came to one part of the studying. It's about allomorph, and to be more specific, in the area of morphophonemics and some other people say morphophonology. So I think it's worthwhile to make a video to get the distinction between phonetics and phonology more clearly, right? So to start, I think in order to know exactly what phonetic and phonology is about, and the difference between those two terminologies, it's basically just get grasp to know what they are exactly studying about, right? The mechanics of how they are working. So firstly, I want to talk about phonetics. Phonetics is a studying of a small list unit of phonemes. Phonemes can be studied so there's an international phonetic alphabet. So each alphabet can be regarded as a phoneme, and you have to study those signs and symbols. And basically, it's a studying of international phonetic alphabets. Those alphabets can be grouped into, I would say, 4 parts. The first part is vowel, phonetic alphabet. Second part is consonant alphabet, phonetic alphabet. Third part is diphthongs. Diphthongs, to simply put it, it's a combination of 2 vowels to make a new sound, to make one sound. Also, digraphs. Digraphs is the same as diphthongs. It's 2 consonant combines together to make a sound. So phonetic studies, generally speaking, is all about international phonetic alphabets and their categories, how they are sounded, the way they are sounded. To some extent, if you are an academic student, you also need to learn anatomy of your aspiration system from your lungs, the air from your lungs to out of your mouth, the whole system, each small organs within your aspiration system, and how each of those small organs functions, which sound they can make, and how they are related to the phonetic phonemes. So what is phonology and how it mechanically works, right? The parts it is focusing on, right? So today when I was reviewing my own materials, I came to this part. It is the part of alloform studying, and under this alloform studying, there's another part of morphophonemics, or other people would say morphophonology studying. And I think it's really worthwhile and really good to take this part as a demonstration to show what phonology is really about, and it's worthwhile to sharing with you guys. So so before we get into specific, I think it's necessary to explain you what those two terminologies about, right? Their definitions. So alloform, it is. But first of all, regarding to those two definitions about those two terminologies, don't worry about it. It's sometimes it doesn't make sense to me as well, and hard to understand. But nonetheless, to say, I think it's worthwhile to point it out. The official definition of those two words, right? So, allomorph means it is a studying of variant forms of a single morpheme that are phonetically distinct but have the same meaning and function. Morphophonemics or morphophonology, by definition, it is the branch of linguistics that deals with the morphological representation of morphemes. It is the branch of linguistics that studies the interaction between morphological and phonological or phonetic processes. Its chief focus is the sound changes that take place in morphemes when they combine to form a word. Let's put aside the word alloform. Let's just focus on morphophonetic morphophonemics, or other people say morphophonology. So this part, I think we should clarify the parts of its studying, which what I have at this moment have only 4 parts. The first part is dealing with plural nouns and third person singular verbs. Second part is dealing with past tense, or specifically the regular verbs past tense, that is adding ed in the end of those verbs. Third part is the indefinite article, that is are and the usage of are and an. So why I'm talking about those 3 parts? Because as I have mentioned, those parts are while defining how phonology is about, right? As I mentioned in the first introduction video about linguistics, I said phonology is about the holistic view of how the phonemes are constructed. It says some facts, but quite vague, sometimes can be misleading. So that's why I want to talk about those 3 parts specifically to demonstrate it in a more clear way. So the first part of morphophonemics is the plural forms of nouns and third person singular. Basically, just adding s in the end of verbs or in the end of the nouns. But the key point is that when you are adding s in the end of the verbs or nouns, the meanings are not changing, right? She eats, right? The word eat and eats, it's the same meaning as you put food into your mouth. But how the combined verb or noun with the s pronounced is changing a little bit. To be specifically into 3 ways, alright. In this matter, if you are the s in the end of the verb or s in the end of the noun can be pronounced either in 3 ways, either s, z, or is. But which way you should pronounce with with each verbs or nouns, depending on the last phoneme of the verb or noun you are combining the s with, right? So you can see that this is actually the mechanics of how the phonology is working. It's sort of making some rules, right? Some rules of the phonetics of some specific category of phonemes combined with the s to sound in a different way. So this is actually the phonology is about. So the second part, let's talk about second part to make more specific cases. The past tense of verbs, but here I'm talking about the regular verbs. So that means those regular verbs, if you want to change them to past tenses, you just basically add ed in the end of each verbs. But here comes to the issue. When you are adding ed, in the end of each verb, the pronunciation of each of the ed can be varied into three ways, right? It's the same mechanisms as we've just talked about, the plural nouns and third person singular, by adding s in the end of each word. So the past tense verbs works the same way, but just using different rules, right? So in terms of the regular verbs, adding ed in the end of the verbs can be pronounced in three ways. First way, t, second way, d, and third way, ed. But which one you should pronounce, and what factor it decides. It just comes back to the phoneme again. It depends on the last phoneme, the preceding phoneme, the preceding phoneme of the suffix ed, right? What's the preceding phoneme in which category with the suffix ed, right? So not only that, the way it's constructed, right? If you want to add ed in the end of each word, it can be constructed into three ways. For some verb, you can just basically add a d in the end of the verb. For some verb, regular verbs, you add ed in the end, and for some verbs you have to delete the last y and add ied in the end. And also but you could ask, when should you just add a d in the end of the verbs, or add a ed in the end of the verbs, and change y to add ied in the end of the verbs. It's also it also depend. It's the same as we as I have made examples, last two examples. It depends on the preceding preceding phonetic alphabet, right? In each category of rows with the ed or d or ied. So I'm trying to show you the mechanics, how morphology is working. So on this third part, it's the indefinite article are and an. The same question you would ask, when should I use are and when should I use an? And also the same answer would be, it depends on the preceding phonetic alphabet, right? In this case, if it's a consonant alphabet, phonetic alphabet, you just use if it's a vowel phonetic alphabet, you use an. Alright, to sum it up, phonetics is dealing with the phonetic alphabets, the smallest phonemes, right? How those phonetic alphabets are written, and how those phonetic alphabets are sounding like, even two combination of two vowels, combination of two consonants, how they should be combined together, and how they will sound like. And phonology is dealing with the constructions of how phonetic alphabets are putting together, the rules how they put together, and how they are sounding like by new arrangements of construction. That's it.